Mbappe, Haaland,
Uh,
Messi, Kane. What a
that's the
World
thing
Cup.
about this World Cup. That is the hallmark that the top guns have really delivered. You
This,
don't always
this,
see that at a World Cup.
And it's
no,
with
you don't.
goals.
The stars are out. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cristiano didn't have his best World Cup, but he was definitely let down by Bruno, Vitinha,
Mm.
and João Neves in that midfield.
Sorry, I'm
Go
just saying
ahead.
they don't on Tuchel. They don't win that game if Southgate's in charge because
Yes, absolutely. Completely agree. That was the point I was coming to.
yeah.
I think
Just had to get
Southgate.
one in there.
Welcome to the dugout. Today is July 8th. It's a rest day. After a month of football, we have nothing to look forward to today. You guys surviving?
I'm going to miss. I can't believe I'm already nostalgic about staying up late at night to watch games.
I'm rewatching Lost, so you can imagine I'm totally lost at the moment.
You know, it's that meme of in Narcos where the guy is sitting on the bench. Basically, he's got nothing to do. That's
Escobar,
everyone.
yeah, yeah.
Escobar, that's basically all of us today. But, gentlemen, the quarterfinals are set. Let's start off with this fantastic match that happened at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Tom Brady put out a tweet that says this is the 28-3 comeback equivalent in football. The Brady's tweet, of course, went viral. We're, of course, talking about Argentina's fantastic comeback against Egypt. Argentina will play Switzerland in the quarterfinals. This match was stunning to watch. It had everything. Hats off to the Egyptians to go up 2-0 against this Argentina team. Messi missing a penalty, and then the last 11 minutes was just pure drama. It was riveting. People in the office are watching. You could just hear the screams. It was amazing. Um, let's dissect this match a little bit. Obviously, it's Messi now with 8 goals, everything in this match had everything. It encapsulated this World Cup. Mustafa, your quick thoughts on this match and all the surrounding noise around this
Yeah.
match.
The first sad thing is that I watched this match alone in my room. I watched Portugal Spain, that snooze fest, with my friends. So like we got like I got on that again. But this match was incredible because it legitimately had anything. It had a bit of controversy. It had the comeback. It had the disallowed goals. It had the penalty miss. It had the late 90 minutes winner. It had Messi for basically become forcing his team, bringing his team in those two goals, in those two the first two goals of theirs. And it's just, man, it was so good. It was so much fun.
I thought it would be difficult to surpass what we saw in Mexico, England, but this match truly lived up and went beyond that. The Egyptian goalkeeper in the first half, absolutely insane. Truly, Argentina should have had a 2 or 3 goal lead, but the way they bounced back, the way the Egyptians counterattacked to with precision, with accuracy, and with deadliness. Of course, there is a controversy with the foul on Taliafico before that third goal. That would have been the dagger, so to speak, for the Egyptians against the Argentinians. But of course, like you mentioned in our off before we went on air, Doc, that these things happen in these kind of matches. There is inconsistency from the referees. Yes, the controversy is raging, but Messi once again rising from the dead after missing a penalty, which we all expected, to be quite honest. Just the way he strode up, we just felt that he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it saved. Brilliant keeping from the Egyptian goalkeeper, and once again that African team jinx in the last 10 minutes of losing their heads, losing their calm, losing their feet, losing their cool, and very heartbreaking for Egypt.
Yeah, just one thing on the counterattack. They were counterattacking so well, but I'm going to remember their last counterattack, which is when Marmoush, they're basically 3-on-2 with Marmoush basically free, and he just literally passes it to the Argentinian defender and like completely kills the counter, which was a guaranteed goal basically.
Yeah, that was a 3-on-2, and basically the Argentinian defender just stuck out a leg, and Marmoush just happened to hit it. He actually has had a very piss poor World Cup.
Yes.
You talked about refereeing AZ. I think we just want consistency. You cannot
Yes.
give a foul on one end of the pitch, which several seconds later leads to basically a goal from a play that has nothing to do with the initial foul. I think that's where some of the discrepancy come to. Let's talk about that goal that Messi scored, that equalizer. 2-1. If you haven't heard it on the Spanish language broadcast, I urge you to watch it in Spanish, just the highlight. Number two, that stadium just exploded. Everyone before the World Cup was so worried about atmosphere in the stadiums and stuff like that, but you had to turn the volume down because of how much noise there was. Number three, the technique at which Messi hit that goal. That is such a difficult ball to keep within the frame of the goal. It's just amazing the way to do it. And the fourth point I'd make is Romero and Licha, that's a soft underbelly because Argentina has conceded a lot of goals in this World Cup. And
They
I
prefer
would
scoring goals rather than defending them, to be
correct there
honest.
and I think they play with a reckless abandon because I think they feel that they can score goals. But as the tournament progresses, that might bite them in. Let's talk about their opponents in the quarterfinal. Switzerland came over, won in penalties over Colombia, which I thought Colombia was a better team in that. But again, just penalty shootout. People, whether it's a practice or I was watching with friends, and you could almost predict based on the run up and just the body language of players who are just going to miss penalties. Um, I think it's safe to say Argentina should be favored against the Swiss.
Mhm. Yeah, starting from like getting going from Argentina, Egypt to this was quite disappointing. And in my personal opinion, there's nothing really to say about this other than this is probably James Rodriguez, who is a World Cup legend's last World Cup game, right? So that's like that's the most I can probably say about it, right?
They had some pretty good opportunities that they blazed over the
Yeah,
bar. Plus, there was that header
Mm,
that hit at the crossbar. But
crossbar.
apart
Right.
from that, I think the thing with Switzerland is with their matchup with Argentina in the quarterfinals, it's a veteran side with Elverde, Akanji,
mm,
Ricardo Rodriguez, Granit Xhaka, Freuler. They've been all around for absolute donkey's years. Even Brian Bola himself is a very seasoned veteran of the Swiss squad. Even though he's still in his early 20s, he's been out there for the longest of time. So I think they'll be a lot more conservative. They'll be looking to frustrate the Argentinians. They have a keeper in hot form, which is always an advantage. So the Swiss, with a much more well seasoned coach as well, perhaps not so much of a passion merchant, so to speak, as the great Hossam Hassan is. Of course, he inspired Egypt to reaching unreal heights in this World Cup. But if they can play the smart game, take it beyond 90, take it long, frustrate the Argentinians, take it to pens, basically, anything can happen.
Yeah, let's come to the other game in that bracket, Norway England. So the winner of Norway England will play the winner of Argentina and Switzerland. Um, let's go to the other great game in the round of 16, England Mexico at the Azteca. If we thought Argentina, Egypt had everything, this game definitely had everything. I mean, you had a red card, you had penalties, you had VAR decisions, but I give a lot of credit to Tom Tuchel and this England team.
mm,
They grinded out a gritty win in a tough, hostile environment. And we've said this time and time again. When you have Bellingham and you have Kane, you have a lot of things that can happen that go good for you. And those two basically, once again, just like against Congo, basically lifted up this team and carried them over the line. Mexico clearly were going off, vibes and fan because they were bereft, sorry, of a plan. Basically, it was just let's cross the ball in the middle and hope for the best. And Tuchel, of course, had brought on Dan Burn. He took off Saka, brought on put on John Stones. Basically, had five central defenders in there at the end, and it was easy for them. But a lot of credit to England.
yeah. Like I just like I was thinking about this a little bit. If you te if you look at the top two of England, right, of Jude Bellingham and Kane, right, how many people have can say their best two players are better than those two, right? So may like probably France with Olise and Mbappe definitely, right? But then it becomes dicey in the rest of the tournament because it's Messi and whoever you want to put in there, right? And then you have Spain with Pedri, basically. Like, and after that, it's up in the air, right? Then you have Haaland, who's basically so Haaland and Odegaard. Like a lot of teams have like France is a different thing altogether, right? But they have like four or five of like the top 20 players in the world, top attackers in the world, right? But like other than them, how many teams are actually better than have a better top two than them?
But the thing is, Jude Bellingham will be missing in that Norway encounter, so
Hmm.
it's going to throw a massive spanner in the works. Morgan Rogers was rated very highly before the World Cup. Thomas Tuchel gave him a series of caps. So far, hasn't set the stage alight. So this is a massive opportunity for him. Or is maybe Tuchel looking to tweak and perhaps have Saka in the middle, Madueke on the right wing, or maybe Anthony Gordon in the middle, Marcus Rashford in the middle? Could be something in the works here, but very likely it does seem like Morgan Rogers should get the nod to replace Jude Bellingham, who's of course
He's not suspended.
suspended.
He's not suspended. He's at risk. If he gets a yellow in the Norway game, he'll be suspended.
Are we
Or
100% sure on that? Okay,
yes,
okay, fair
just
enough.
checked it.
Yeah, either way, it's a because then in the semifinals,
In
if
any case,
he
King Charles will call Infantino and get it
I
ruled
But of
out,
course,
anyways.
that's the Pandora's box that opened. Let's talk about a couple other things. We talked about this in our preview of that game. Um, we talked about the inconsistencies of Rashford, and I think Tuchel again, he clearly has his pulse on the team. He made the right call on that left wing position because Anthony Gordon had a fantastic game.
yeah.
He basically created that good third goal, basically charging the box, charging the goalkeeper, and forcing him to foul. Saka, I would be concerned about if I was an Arsenal fan, if I was an England fan.
I think
He
he was a
yes,
bit better against
he
Mexico,
was
though,
better.
to
Yeah.
be
He had
honest.
a very good assist in that cross in that for the first goal. But otherwise, he was sloppy, lost the ball a bunch of times. Clearly doesn't track back. Um,
They
but
don't win that.
come
Sorry.
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Sorry, I'm
Go
just saying
ahead.
they don't on Tuchel. They don't win that game if Southgate's in charge because
Yes,
like
absolutely. Completely agree. That was the point I was coming to.
yeah,
I think
Just had to get
Southgate
one in there.
he finds a way to lose that game. I think Mustafa's absolutely right. Let's come to Norway. Um, Boy, Haaland's been impressive. They have that clip going around where he's just loafing around, ambling around, and then just quick as a fox, he just basically gets into position, peels off Gabriel, and that bullet header, just amazing. He's a man on fire. He's a man in confidence, and the Swiss won't be pushovers. They can have ball control. Odegaard, Schlotterbeck, they can give England a difficult game because the one thing England don't have, they don't have midfield controllers. They have players in the midfield who are powerful, who can press, but they left all their basically ball controllers at home in England.
Ha-
How do you think this matchup will go?
yeah. First and foremost, I would like to say again that how I predicted that this game would come down to Haaland versus Gabriel, and how he was completely manhandled for that entire game, and the Haaland is a spectacular talent, and like the thing is, he needs literally just a he's probably the best player in the box. He's the best player in the world who can do the most with the least. He literally just needs a second probably, and he can score a goal, right?
He
So
reminds me a lot of a player that is very close to my heart. Of course, played for France
huh,
and for Juve for the longest time. David Trezeguet. He just needed
mm,
half a chance and boom. He was an ultimate finisher. He added absolutely nothing in build-up. He used to amble around, just hang around the box. But once he gets that laser focus, once he gets half a chance, it's over for you.
it also reminds me of what's his name, Ruud van Nistelrooy as well. But Ruud had a bit more.
Mr. Roy had a bit
Huh.
more to his game, I
He had a
feel.
bit
Yeah.
more to his game, but like same basic thing of what I'm thinking about, right?
No, he's just a sniper. I mean, you
Yeah,
look at
him.
that
Mm.
second goal. He basically moves the ball an inch and basically smashes the ball through the defender's legs
Yeah.
into the bottom corner and wraps
That
up the
was
game.
something a la Rivaldo, which would hurt
It
the
was,
Brazilians even
right?
more.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also another thing is like we've been like we talked about this, like that defense is gettable in England, right? And
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. He will be licking his chops, especially now that I think
I
Kwanzaa
mean, Congo
is
had them on the ropes, basically.
yeah,
but Congo had fast physical players, which I don't think
Yeah.
Norway has. I think Norway will try and control the tempo a little bit more. But
Plus, there's so
Kwanzaa's
much
out.
Premier League familiarity all over the
There
park,
is,
so it's
but
gonna
I
be
think
a tight game.
Holland will like his matchup against Gehi and Konsa,
hmm very much
Mm.
so.
right?
He's
He's
much
he
bigger,
he
much
gets
taller than both.
he
Yeah.
gets practice he gets practice against Guy all for the last 6 months at
Ah,
City. Like
And
he got
City.
both citizens. Yeah, makes
Right.
sense.
he
Can we
got
just quickly talk about Brazil?
uh,
Is it disappointing or expected?
I
I
This
think we were
wasn't
just
this was
we were high on the sauce that we thought they'd go deep. This is a terrible team, man. I mean,
yeah, I
their
agree.
talent, dearth of talent is almost as bad as Italy's at this stage. Matlab, what are these players, man? How are you gonna win anything with these guys, man?
It's Vinny and basically that's it. I mean, look at that
That's it.
midfield is just Bruno. I think Bruno Guimaraes had a decent World Cup, but he went
He
missing
had
in
some
too many
yeah
assists. Yeah,
stretches.
yeah.
Missing in too many stretches. I think they need to revamp that whole thing. Carlo probably isn't the right guy for a
he was
long-term
never the right
project.
guy. I mean, he was
Yeah,
never the right guy.
Carlos basically like I think like Carlos
He
this
was
is
just
basically
riding the World Cup wave. के चलो यार, one last हरा,
yeah
कुछ तो कर
Yeah.
yeah
लें, you know.
he's basically sabbatical before he comes back to club management in my opinion or he retires essentially. Uh
Well, Klopp just took over at Germany, so
Germany too.
that's the
Yeah.
new
So
trend these
yeah
days.
yeah and also like I want to talk about like us like do you want to talk about Neymar for 2 minutes because like it is basically his World
sure.
Cup and like it basically was a very full circle moment for
Yep.
him
Scored.
because he debuted in the MetLife Stadium for Brazil and he
Yes.
finished his career for Brazil in the MetLife Stadium. He scored a goal as well, where he also scored a goal
Penalty. Yep.
in his debut, and like of course he's not been great. Like he's not obviously he's old, he's injury prone, he's not been great this World Cup, right? But it does really show how much they miss a prime Neymar basically. How much he would how much he would have elevated this team.
He would have, but I found it strange, that he scored that penalty. There was still time, and he's there basically jawing with the keeper instead of grabbing the ball and running to the center circle, try and score again. That crystallized Brazil for me, right?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
move to the other side of the bracket. Um, the game that was hyped here, Dallas, but a very, just an anticlimactic game, Spain against Portugal.
Mm.
Uh, Cristiano has said it's his final World Cup game. I'm not too sure. I don't think he gives up his dream of a home World Cup against Portugal. The better team won. We talked about in the last game, Spain basically building up, gaining some momentum. In stretches, they were very impressive. They have a gear that other teams don't. The number nine position continues to be their bugaboo. We saw some glaring misses, but it's probably the better team that won. This Portugal team was just, and I tweeted this out yesterday, a link to our preview. And in our preview of Spain, sorry, of Portugal, all three of us basically said over-reliance on Cristiano and Roberto Martinez messing up that midfield is what's going to let them down. And sure enough, very prescient of this. Um, Gentlemen, your thoughts on Spain and Portugal?
So Portugal, I will talk about at a different time. But firstly, Spain, right? The basically Yamal was basically shut down by Nuno Mendes until he Nuno Mendes going off was the actual change that happened in the game because
But they weren't winning. Portugal
no,
wasn't winning
no,
before them either.
Portugal wasn't winning, right? But every chance of them winning went away when Nuno Mendes went away, essentially to me, right? Because he was being an attacking threat and he basically shut down Yamal. And when Sabedo came on, he kept on. Yamal got confidence. I'm still very unsure about this midfield. I don't like Pedri's form at all. Their number nine position is doing nothing. Their defense is great. They still haven't conceded a goal all tournament, I believe. So like that is a very plus point. So it's like it's gonna be funny if it's like Spain versus Argentina in the final, and it's basically an all attacking team versus a team that has like the best defense in the World Cup right now, which is I think we might be because they're going to eventually face after the quarterfinals. They're in a collision course for France. So the ultimate attacking team, the ultimate superstar attacking team versus probably the best defense in the World Cup left in the World Cup.
Honestly, I felt Portugal played pretty well defensively, at least for the most part. They kept Yamal really bottled up. Pedri
Yep.
was getting frustrated. Danny Olmo didn't do much either. Oyarzabal had that massive miss in the first half, but then the keepers, both Unai Simon and Diogo Costa, really took over the game. It was just that one moment when they switched off on that free kick, that soft free kick given away by Bernardo Silva, who has turned out to be the villain in a sense of the World Cup. And then Mikel Merino, the ultimate poacher, great finish from him and heartbreak for the Portuguese. I thought they were good value to perhaps take it to pens, but once again, the main story for them, as we've repeatedly said, the no-show of Bruno Fernandes,
Yeah.
Vitinha, and
Mm,
Joao Neves. Absolutely appalling in this World Cup. Pedro Neto was appalling as well.
uh,
Rafa Leao had his moments. I was shocked he didn't start because Joao Felix, once again, he wants the ball to feet. He's not going to run into spaces. And if you're not going to stretch the pitch, then Spain are naturally going to put that squeeze on you with their two excellent fullbacks and Kubarsi and Laporte in the middle. And in the end, it's heartbreak for Cristiano. The team didn't help, but of course, him being the megastar that he is, he has to bear the brunt of the blame. And like you mentioned, Doc, he's announced officially that it's my last World Cup. But when you're playing at home, even though he'll be 45, 46,
Yep.
if there's any athlete on this planet who can prepare himself, apart from LeBron James, for
yes.
that World Cup at that age, then it's Cristiano. And let's hope he hangs around truly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Cristiano didn't have his best World Cup, but he was definitely let down by Bruno, Vitinha,
Mm,
and João Neves in that midfield. Bruno was, it's like watching a different player. It was a
yeah.
shell of himself compared to Manchester United. Same for Vitinha, who basically him and João Neves won back-to-back Champions League. They were basically ran riot over Europe. Just couldn't click. And Cristiano needs service. I
Mm,
can't remember a single chance that was created for him. Yes, he doesn't have those instincts, the speed, so on and so forth, but you still, as Haaland showed, you can create a system around basically a poacher and be highly successful. The At the end of the day, the scapegoat for me, and it's not even a scapegoat, the blame really falls on Roberto Martinez
mm,
and his management. Let's talk about the next game. Spain, of course, played Belgium. Belgium, of course, walloped the US. As a fan, I was just disappointed in the way the US came out. They just came out flat, uninspired. Just they never had a chance
Too
from
too
moment
nervous,
one.
too jittery.
They just never settled down. I kept waiting for them to settle down. The occasion clearly got to them. I don't know if all the noise around the off-field stuff got to them. They never played the game. They got them 3 wins heading into this game. They never played that fast, physical game. But again, I was talking to some friends. It shows that good physical attributes provide you a floor. U.S. soccer will always have players who are fit, fast, physical. The difference between becoming a round of 32 team and a quarterfinal team is the technical prowess of your teams.
mm,
They still do not have players who can control the midfield, who are press resistant, who can pass the ball back to the defenders, who are equally press resistant, comfortable to feed. Clearly, their goalkeeper also let them down, not comfortable. If the defense plays a high line with playing the sweeper keeper role, and that's the one thing football in the US has to take a step up is improving the technical floor of the team. You already have the physical floor. You now have to figure out how do you raise the technical floor from under eights on up, which is a very difficult thing to do in a system and a culture that is all about winning, winning, winning. And when
Mm.
you're 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 13, 17, easiest way to win is basically pace and power and out
yeah.
physical, not really the La Masia way in Barcelona where you tiki-taka and technical prowess your way to winning. And it's a mindset that's needed. But you see this in American sports as well, in football, basketball, against physical more than technical, so on and so forth. But it was just very disappointing the way it was set up. I hope Pochettino continues because I think you need two things. One, you need a director of football to do a top-down approach, but then you also need a head coach like Pochettino who has a tactical acumen and the nous to basically get the most out of the team, knowing what you have. Your thoughts on
You have
U.S.
to bring
Belgium,
out the
guys?
checkbook, Doc. You need to put some zeros behind his
You
name.
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And
So
they can
like,
afford it, man. After
They can
this World
afford it.
Cup,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah,
correct.
yeah,
they can
That's not the
absolutely
issue. The
afford it.
issue isn't cost. The issue is desire.
Yeah,
Right.
but like the one thing I want to talk about is like a lot of people were saying that because of Balogun's red card and the whole Trump shaped cloud around it, they were distracted and all that. I do not think it's that. I genuinely do think it is that Belgium are a much better team. They play as a team. They obviously probably rallied because they felt like this injustice against them, so they had something in their stomachs to play for as well, right? But like this is how a very technical, very good team treats a team that has pace and power but is not technically does not have technicality, does not know how to properly defend if it's not stride tackles and stuff like that, right? They've been uneasy at the back for the entire World Cup. The bell And this is the first decent team. This is the first top 20 team they ran into in the World Cup, and this is what happened to them. I don't think
But I
there's
don't
no
think Belgium was creating chance after chance and
I
I
shooting
don't
off
slightly
the
disagree with
park.
that as well. No
Yeah, I mean their
Lukaku,
goals
no
were all
KDB, no
yeah,
Jeremy Doku, and you got railroaded. You were mentally off. I
it
think
was
the
mentally
US,
off.
as they say, they were high on their own supply. They were a
Correct.
bit overconfident. They got rocked when they conceded early. Then they
Early.
really
They
got
just
in
never
their own
settled down.
heads. Yeah.
I still disagree. I think they got completely outclassed even without all of that.
They got outclassed, there's no doubt about it, but
Yeah.
I think the talent dearth with that talent gap between the two teams was not that
It
significant. They
wasn't
just
correct.
didn't have a good game plan.
Hmm.
I wonder what would have been what would have happened if this was in an indoor stadium. I think it would have been a little bit different. I think atmosphere had a big thing to do with it. Lumen Field was great, don't get me wrong, but 5 p.m. in Seattle with the sun still out, not the same atmosphere as a night game. Let's come to the last quarterfinal. Of course, Spain, Belgium. Winner will play the winner of France or Morocco, which is a blockbuster quarterfinal. Morocco, of course. If we had Egypt, Argentina, we had England, Mexico, and we've completely forgotten about Morocco, Netherlands, which was again another absolutely fantastic match. Morocco against France has all the hallmarks of a very spicy game. I was impressed with France. Only 1-0, but a very difficult game in the sense that Paraguay um, weren't basically they weren't playing football. They were I don't know what they were playing,
Hmm.
um, but they held their nerve.
There's this ancient Italian game of calcio. It's a mix of rugby and soccer. You might have seen it. They put on their old costumes and they're basically wrestling as they're playing rugby. It's the kind of something of that sort it was.
Yeah.
Mbappe, of course, still amazing. 7 goals, beautiful penalty. Um, is this game going to be one-sided? I hope it's not. It's got a lot of spice to it. It's game,
I
of
s-
course, tomorrow.
I still think their attack is so great, but I do think France's midfield is a bit like it has its good days and its bad days at times, right? And depending on how Tokomai is playing as well. And Rabiot, it's like there's a little bit of a soft underbelly in their midfield, which Morocco can exploit. I do think France is going to win. I don't think it's going to be so handily. I can see this being like a 3-2 game, a 4-2 game, like
Would
some.
love that. Would love that.
I think it would be a 3-2 game. Like I think there's going to be goals galore, right? I think there's going to be goals galore in this game. I don't think either defense is fantastic at the right, but I do think I think it's going to be. I think Hakimi has shown up this World Cup. Mbappe has shown up this World Cup. Everyone, all the both of these teams have played shown up this World Cup, and all of them both of these teams have played like a team instead of a team of individuals, which is major.
Well, it depends on Saibari because he went off injured
Mm,
in that game against Canada. And I really like the way Morocco won that game because they showed a different side. They showed a different aspect that they can hit you in the transition phase as well. They can smack you on the counter as well. Usually they've dominated possession and been the ones on, the ascendancy, but Canada had a lot of the possession, had a lot of the attacks, had a lot of the intent, so they had to respond to that. So they've shown multiple facets of the way they play as well. And of course, this is another, like we say, Senegal versus France, is France A versus France B. There is very
Uh,
much of that overlap here as well, with a lot of Liga based players in the Moroccan side. I think majority of them probably play in Liga, if not half of them, with the likes of Ouadi, especially competing with that midfield, like Mustafa mentioned, the way he overran the Brazilian midfield. He can certainly do that to the French team as well. Will be interesting to see whether it'll be Kone or Chouameni alongside Rabiot. But Rabiot is the constant, and France do have the ability to play attritional soccer as we've seen against Paraguay. So hoping for goals. I think maybe 2-1, 3-2 is a bit optimistic. 2-1, I would love to see it split that way, but the heart is with Morocco. Hopefully they can pull off a miraculous win, but it does seem like it's Le Bleu's game to lose and perhaps Le Bleu's World Cup to lose.
Yeah, and I
that's the
also
game within the game that I want to see is that Buadi against whether it's Chouamini or
I think we'll
Kone
see
in the
Chouameni.
midfield.
He'll
it
want a
should.
bruiser in the middle to slow them down,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. And I also
That'll
think
be
I also
go
want to
ahead.
talk about one thing is about Morocco, about Mbappe's PR like rise in this World Cup compared to like his last 2 years in Madrid, right? Because even this dictator character that has formed around him has somehow turned into positive PR, right? Where everyone has just like
He's still smashing what 25, 30 goals every year for Madrid. I don't know what the drama is, to be
but
honest.
I agree, but they signed they a million people signed a petition to get him
Spoiled
out.
fans and a spoiled fan base,
Yeah,
man.
but Madrid drama is Madrid drama. It's always going to be there. Um, Mbappe, Haaland, Messi, Kane. What a
That's the
World
thing
Cup!
about this World Cup. That is the hallmark that the top guns have really delivered. You
This
don't always
this
see that at a World
And
Cup.
it's
no,
with
you don't.
goals,
The stars are out.
the goals galore. Like I remember when you used to win a golden boot with like 5 or 6 goals. Did like am I not wrong? Like Thierry Henry
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
won the
Yeah.
golden
Four,
boot with
five, 4-5. Yeah,
like
yeah.
3 or 4 goals or something like that, right?
I
Like
mean, there's an extra game in there as well, round of
there's an extra
32.
game of there. There's an extra game in there as well. I do not
But
disagree about.
even then,
Like even then, like you still had a lot of goals in the group stages as well, and even in this round of 32 from both. And like it's not like there's been aside from
The weak teams have been scoring. That's the best part.
that's the
yeah,
best part.
It hasn't
Correct.
been 8-0 hammerings, one or two of
Yes.
them, but not that many.
Cape
yeah.
Verde has scored, Mexico scored, Congo scored. All these teams
Curacao
basically
scored,
scored.
man.
Curacao scored in our round, and also in the knockout stages, round of 32, round of 16. They've all scored goals. It's been very good to see. Any other thoughts? Did we miss anything?
On that, like, thank you for bringing up Cape Verde. How do you think the Argentina is emotionally? Because you have gone through that Cape Verde, like, almost heartbreak, okay, where they could have lost and it was a very tough game, and then this elation of this game, right? Aren't they? Wouldn't they be already emotionally spent? I know
But they
they've
play like that.
They
This is
play like that.
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that
This
Saudi
is
loss in 2022?
yeah.
correct. This is the team of Diego Maradona and Mario Kempes. They play like that. That's they're basically Pakistan cricket, but they actually win. So
They don't win that much, but they're winning now.
They're the 90s team. Well,
Which won
without
nothing.
the with without the match fixing allegations. All right.
Hey,
what's up?
come on, come on. We saw what happened.
We saw those two penalties.
That
We
that's
saw
why I said it.
Infantino's reaction when Egypt had doubled their lead.
It's
Yeah.
why I said it with a smile. So, all right, guys, fantastic group of games to look forward to. Thank you.